to talk to you about how to humanize your drum groove. Rather, how to make it sound like a human is playing it more than just a computer. So, what I'm going to do is I'm here on Schoology, going to go into the drum groove unit, and this is going to be built upon your drum groove formative 2, not drum groove formative 1. So, since we've already come here, we've looked at the directions, and this is our drum groove 2 that we programmed in with this kick rhythm. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Open up Logic. When you bring your project up, of course, it'll already be there for you. I'm opening Logic up for the first time, and in the case that something pops up from the past that you did, what you can always do is File, Close Project, and then go File, New if you're starting this from scratch. And if you're starting this from scratch, well, you're behind anyway. We don't need this, as always. Get rid of that. I'm dealing with drums, drum kit, Blue Ridge. I'm going quickly because all of this was already in the previous tutorial video. Whoops, scissors. There we go. And we are working with a 2-measure drum groove. Look, it's 2 measures in length. The phrase, rather, the section of music is 2 measures in length. So I have to zoom in to see all the way from 1 all the way to about 3, because that gives us 2 complete measures. So I'm going to zoom in horizontally. Again, this is nothing new. This is why I'm going quick. Until I have 3 over here, so I can see from 1 to just 2 is measure 1, and then from just 2 to just 3 is measure 2. And of course, we can see all the different types of drums that we have here. I'm going to put my volume up a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. Are you going to cooperate? Yes, you are. Great. And so I'm going to start off with, just like before, we have 1/8 note hi-hats and a snare backbeat. Of course, what that means that we've talked about over and over in class as well as the tutorial videos is a backbeat is when the snare drum is on beats 2 and 4. Well, let me start with the hi-hats. And again, this is from your last tutorial video. You know how to put 1/8 note hi-hats in. I'm going to take that for granted if you paid attention. Those weren't 1/8 notes. I made a mistake. And I'm going to undo it. And you can undo by pushing Command Z. See, I didn't pay attention to the details of my own video. This is real time, folks. We're really doing this real time. All right, there we go. No movie magic. Those are the hi-hats. Then I need a snare drum, snare center, on beats 2 and 4 of each measure. And I'm going to make these quarter notes. It doesn't really matter because a drum does not sustain its sound like a pitch. We just hear the initial attack. So it's not going to sound any different if I have it here or here or here, as long as it's played on beat 2 and beat 4 of the measure. In fact, I'll demonstrate that by making these of various lengths, and you'll notice as it gets played that the only thing that matters is that it gets played on beat 2, it gets played on beat 4. So the lengths of them do not really matter. In that case, let's go and let's see the kick drum pattern. We have dotted half note, which is 3 beats, followed by a quarter note, which is 1 beat. So, C1. I got to make this 3 beats. And whoop. And then I'm going to make this 1 beat. Boom. So that's measure 1. And again, even if this was shorter, it wouldn't make any difference in the sound, but I'm doing this visually to be able to count it, and so that you can see what the counting is. Coming back here. Next measure, 2 1/8 notes, an 1/8 note rest. Let's see. Here's an 1/8 note, and another 1/8 note. An 1/8 note rest, an 1/8 note rest, followed by an 1/8 note, and then a half note. So 1 and shush on 2, and, is that what we have? 1 and, shush on 2, upbeat of 2 and then we have a half note that gets played on beat 3 and lasts through beat 4. All right, this is our drum groove. It's not a very good one, but it's one I randomly wrote, and we're going to go with it. Okay, so what we're going to do is, well, I'm going to go File, Save As, if you haven't done so already. File, Save As, Drum Groove 2. I'm going to save it to, can I save it on mine to the desktop? Can I? But can I, though? Ay, ay, ay. Just save it to the desktop. Let's pretend I saved it to the desktop. Oh, there we go. My computer's different than yours. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to use this bottom left-hand corner where it says velocity. The hi-hats, every downbeat is going to be of a higher velocity than the upbeats. So what I'm going to do is the second hi-hat, I'm going to bring it down a little bit, and it's going to bring down the volume. Then I'm going to skip the big one here, and I'm going to go to the next one and bring down the volume. And it's not going to be exact. So this one I have 56, this one I have 63, and you don't want it to be perfect. Maybe I'll do 40 on this one, leave that one alone, and maybe on this one I'll go back up to 53. I don't know, and I'm just going to randomly do this, seemingly random, of course. Let me bring this down real low. And then this one isn't that low. That's a variation. So every other one, I'm taking the velocity and I'm bringing it down. Okay. Let's see what this sounds like. Automatically starts sounding better. A couple of these I want to bring. Automatically starts sounding more like a human. I'm going to do the same thing with the kick drum now. Let's see. I'm going to bring this one down a little bit. Bump, 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 bump. I'm going to bring this one down a little bit. And this one down a little bit. Let's see what this sounds like. Wow, this is starting to sound like a human. So, again, every other hi-hat, you're going to bring the velocity down a little bit. And maybe, let's say 3 of these kick drums, you're going to bring the velocity down a little bit. Now the last thing is, we're going to take our snare drums and we're going to delay them a tiny, tiny bit. As in, I'm going to take this and I'm not going to drag it all the way over to here. I'm just going to drag it just a little tiny bit to the right. Maybe I'll leave that one there, bring this a little tiny bit to the right. There we go. Because humans are not machines. And if we've ever seen any of the Terminator movies, which you shouldn't, it's rated R. I don't even know why I'm making reference to that. Anyway, the machines win the war, and anyway, point is, you're a human, and thank goodness for that. And part of music is, it's not about being perfect. The reason why a musician sounds the way they do is because they're not perfect. And those little imperfections of each musician or each producer, and you're going to hear about this when we start talking about some producers from the 90s. One most notable, Jay Dilla, is known for his beautiful music productions that purposefully were not, quote-unquote, perfect. And that's what gave it its sound. That's what makes it, in part, unique, especially when it comes to rhythm. Anyway, I digress. Let's listen to this. Now that sounds way more realistic, like a human played it, and much more flavorful. If this was a dish of food, I would say that we've added some spices. We've kind of mixed it up a little bit. We added some garnish. Actually, let's talk about garnish. Now I'm hungry. Great. Well, let's just say you did all this with precision and accuracy, because of course we talked about that in class. Precision. Precision is when you do something consistently. Accuracy is when you do something, let's say, correctly. So you can be consistent with doing something incorrect, but at least that's good because I can see what you're thinking. But we're looking for precision and accuracy. So let's just say I'll give you an example of precision that lacks accuracy. Let's just say I saw this. Well, you were precise in how you lined up the hi-hats, but it wasn't accurate because you didn't line up at the same point. So you were consistent the way you programmed it in, but it's not accurate. That helps me know how you're thinking and what might have gone wrong. But here's an example that lacks both precision and accuracy. I don't know what to make of that. Let me get rid of that. That doesn't make me feel good looking at that. Okay, so let's just take for granted that this is both precise and accurate. That was just a little side note. Let's give it some garnish. Let's make this, I'm going to make it my own. I'm going to add some stuff. Let's see. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stay away from any kick drums. I'm going to look for things called top loops. And top loops are just higher pitched rhythmic sounds. So maybe tambourine. I don't like that one. Yeah, let's try this. Oh, I actually like that. I'm not sure exactly what this is going to sound like. That's okay. I'm going to loop this out. Okay. Turns out I like it. Great. Now I'm going to look for congas. Yeah. Sure. I like that. I'm going to go with this one because the timbre of it, just like the overall sound, I think sounds nice. I just like it. I'm going to try it. Turns out I don't like it. Turns out I don't like it after all. I'm going to get rid of it. You know what? Get out of there. Turns out I don't want congas. So I tried it. I don't like it. Vibes. Huh. I like that record scratch in the background. They clearly took this from an old record, or so it seems. And these are all good. I'm gonna go like this, and then this. So I'll have two parts. Yes. Bass. These were lounge vibes. So I'm going to look for something that maybe says lounge vibes. Because if they have a bass that says lounge vibes, it probably goes along with this. Now, you may have different loops. I'm just showing you what I'm doing because I'm having fun. Lounge vibes. Come on, someone give me the lounge vibes. Okay, what is this? No, I want upright bass. I might have to make my own. Bump and disco bass. Ah! I don't like any of this. Chill. Alright, let's just see what happens. Why not? I mean, this doesn't really go. It's not really good. So I would sit here for a little while longer and just kind of mess around a little bit, or maybe make my own bass part. In any case, yeah, I mean, I would say I like this. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Already saved it. And then what I would do is I would say I'm going to make an MP3 out of this. Highlight all of it. Okay? Highlight all of it. We're going to actually take this track and bring it out so other people can hear. Go up to File. These are directions I'm giving you now. I'm showing you how to make an MP3. So you've highlighted it, everything in your session, go File. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go down where it says Bounce. You might want to go to Export. You're actually not going to do that. I know it doesn't make any sense. You're going to go to Bounce. Bounce, Project, or Section. Do that now. Highlight everything on your timeline. Do that now. Okay. Go up to File and drop down File. Do that now. Okay. Go down to Bounce, Project or Section. Find that now. All right. And then when we come here, we're going to go ahead and go MP3. Click off of PCM. Click on to MP3. And by clicking OK, you can have your drum groove too. You can give it a little name. We should give it a little name. I'm going to chillax. Desktop, boom, bounce that down. Now, this MP3 right here, where is it? Where is it? Drum groove 2, chillax. And it's playing on the smart board, but yeah, that's my groove. That's my groove. That MP3 is what you are going to attach as a file to me on a Schoology message. So no JPEG this time, no screenshot this time. You actually made your first MP3 of your first track, arguably, and that MP3 is what you were going to attach to a Schoology message to me. And then I'm going to give you a grade for not just humanizing the drum groove 2, right? Because drum groove 1 formative was an assignment. Drum groove 2 formative was an assignment. This is humanizing drum groove 2. This is the third assignment in the drum unit. And then we went above and beyond in a creative, innovative way to go from 85 to 100. And that's the way you